to Lifestyles of the Poor and Unknown. We're in East Oakland. And our show today is going to be on graffiti artists. We have some artists doing some artwork right now. And we're going to focus on an artist named Doer. And I think he's going to be here any moment. So stay tuned, and we're going to do an interview with Doer.
My name's Doer from Oakland. It's one of my TMR pieces. It's just quick, you know. We're here in Oakland, California. Checking out the track with a homie of mine, another homie does come by, and we're talking about graffiti. What is graffiti? Well, I mean, it has a lot of meanings to a lot of people, you know. There's bombers, people that go out and do streets and stuff. There's piecers, and there's people that do mostly throw-ups and stuff. I try to be as like well-rounded as possible. Try to get the whole thing. I bomb a lot. I've been starting to piece. I got a lot of homies that piece down here, you know, and just staying true to the art. And the art, that's important, is staying true to like the basic beliefs of it, you know, and not really going out, like, you know. We're in sunny Oakland. And this is one of the main spots. This is like the biggest spot in the Bay Area right now. I mean, biggest in size. And I mean, this is the chillest spot. You know, people don't come around from that far away. But basically, let's see. What else can I say? Oh, son. He can tell.
Introduce your buddy.
It's my man, Savage One. So, I just started out, and let's see, this is graffiti art right here, you know? This is an illegal spot, this is illegal. And sometimes they come out here and like they'll sweat you about it, but most of the time it's cool. So this is one of the better spots around, you know? And, it's just the act, I can't explain it more. It's pretty much self-explanatory, you know? And the thing about graffiti is, you know, how people accept it. We don't really care how people accept it, but I mean, that's like how the public thinks about it. Most people don't like graffiti, and they think it's like clean and messy and shit. But, you know, when was the last time they took 3 hours out of their life to sit down and do art, you know? Especially on a wall that's illegal. I mean, that's like double. So this is important to us. And it's important to like keep it to us and stuff, you know, and we're not really worried about other people as much as we're worried about like the graffiti community, you know. So that's about it.
You're gonna do some painting for me?
Yeah. Fake paint.
So what about the paints? I mean, like, how do you find your paints, select your paints? What's the process? You gotta
paint.
Source for your paint, and you get good deals.
Yeah, paint. Yeah, see, you have to run like different scans to get paint for cheap. There's like a lot of brands. Like this is cheap. This is $2 paint, but it's only good for a few colors. I mean, a lot of times, if you go like out to Sacramento, if you go into the cuts, like in the suburbs, paint's a lot cheaper than it is in the city. It's like $4 a can here. I mean, when we're not stealing it, you know.
Krylon Sunset Orange.
So Krylon's the paint you use, huh?
This is good paint. I got this in New York City. Sunset Orange. You can't
Who are we talking to?
Yeah, you can, but
Namani.
It's hard to find. I've never seen Sunset Orange in the state of California.
Where are you from, Namani?
No.
I'm from Oakland.
What part?
I don't know. Kind of East Oakland, but not really deep east.
Uh-huh.
And
Are we in East Oakland now?
Yeah, we're this is like the Fruitvale area, Fruitvale district, near Fruitvale Street. This is mostly like a Latino neighborhood, and this is.
I'm a paint.
This is about.
What do you use for a name?
I write SAD.
Sad.
S-A-J.
Great. Let's go paint.
You should get a shot of the homeless people. That's That's one of the big, big problems in Oakland is that, there's enough money to go around, but there's people that live up in the hills that don't want to share it. And so other people have to live like that, There's probably about 20 people that live down here. What can they do?
Hold out. Let's throw it.
American accent. American accents by Rostoli. That's another good paint.
This is just basically a throw up, quick.
Hey, doer. What's with the name? What's the name mean? It's your signature, right?
Yeah.
As in doing.
I guess so.
Doer.
This is just quick throw up. It's called throw up.
Where'd you come up with the idea?
I think the letters are cool. That's my favorite. Those are cool letters to me.
You like D, U, E, and R?
Yeah. Where'd I come up with the idea? I don't know. I was just thinking about it one day.
And
This is quick and ugly.
but does doer have? Is it have some meaning to you? I mean, is this is a statement of you? Expresses who you are? Or?
To me, it means that I'm doing things.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I
That's what
thought.
I'm doing.
I like it. Doer. That's a good graphic, a good statement to put out to other people that want to aspire to do things. Is just do it. Be a doer.
They can't be a doer, but they can be.
They can't use this logo, but they can do things, right?
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. Be like a doer.
Be like a doer. Yeah. Cool. Like,
Be like doer, man.
If I could be like Mike.
Yeah, I got busted like 8 times and shit.
You did what? You get busted?
Yeah,
For what? Doing graffiti?
yeah.
How many times?
8,
What did they do to you?
I don't know. Anything.
Anything?
Yeah.
What do you mean anything?
Like they book you.
They don't hurt you, do they?
I don't know. They frisk you.
They handcuff you?
They frisk you,
Yeah?
I don't know.
And they put you in jail?
Yeah, sometimes.
They take you home?
Like if you don't go to court and they find you, yeah, then you stay in juvie for longer. How long you been here?
How long I've been where?
Staying right here.
Just got here.
You got a program?
around the tracks.
Doer, how many graffiti artists you think
It's
are?
too many. It's hundreds. Hundreds and hundreds. Graffiti artists, I don't know, that's different. Probably like 20 to 30, like real graffiti artists.
That you could call artists, huh?
Around here? Yeah, just in local. That's Green. He's one of the most famous Oakland graffiti artists.
You should shoot this for sure. And that's the Hit Squad production. That's like the biggest production here.
Picture. We need camera here.
And then that's a
Hit Squad. He's in the Hit Squad. Just initiated.
They're hella toys. Yeah, you should definitely get up in there. I mean, that's like, they run the track, really, basically. That's like the biggest crew here around.
And you should be saying.
And Mute, my homie, is a friend of mine. TDK.
You should be coming down.
Good. All that. Go. That's my little brother with me. You know, I always take him around when we go painting and stuff. He's met hella artists and shit. Already hella little, trying to get him started, you know. But this is the Oakland scene, and it's like different from a lot of places, I think, just because we got our own thing. The rest of the Bay Area doesn't like to come to Oakland, really, you know, not that much. Except some San Jose fools are cool with fools around here. But Oakland's pretty much to its own, so we're different with that shit, you know.
This is the Hit Squad production. It took them about a month to do it. Get all the people together and finish it top to bottom. I don't think I've ever seen a production like this long before that was like not paid graffiti. This is Oakland Hit Squad.
Kind of just a little piece, little production piece of it.
Rap, Poem, King 157, Stash, Crash, Pack, Gyro, Tense, and Mute. Right there is Irie. Spy did that piece. He's a graffiti artist from San Francisco. He does a lot of kind of political stuff. You can see like in the corner, he wrote 1492, no justice, no peace. That's in reference to 1492 when Columbus came and stole, conquered, killed, slaughtered a whole bunch of most of the Native American people that were living on the island of Cuba. So he writes that on a lot of his pieces to remind people. Poem. He's like the leader of the Hit Squad, and he has a lot of stuff down here. He did a rollout. See on the top over here in gray, kind of. It says Vogue and then it says Poem. They did that a couple years ago. That's so that when there's people, the BART tracks run on the opposite side of this, and so when you're riding on BART, which is Bay Area Rapid Transit, like a subway out here, then you can, when you ride by the yards, you can see that big Vogue and Poem.
This is a Love Conquers All piece by Excel, and Excel's from Oakland, and he went down to LA for a while. He did the character in the middle in that piece right there. And Crash, but they did their girlfriend's name, Love Conquers All.
Hey, old English 800. This is straight death in a can, targeted at especially communities of color and black communities. So we try and fight this graffiti. Give you an example a little later. Hate Oakland.
Can't reach that though. Lifestyles before and unknown in a very unlegible way. Hitting one. Let's bounce around. Okay, I'm doing so. I did my like basic throw up kind of. I did it on his pants and his on his shirt. Let's see. Kind of playing around with that. That's what the pants turned out to be. Just quick, you know, I did basic, just simple. real quick. It's kind of
Hold the shirt up. Okay, just like that.
cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Just quick, you know. Just doing a little of that thing. Get my shit around.
1, 2, 3, we on?
Yeah.
Yo, hey, wait a minute, you caught me putting on my pants. Excuse me a second. I'm zipping up my pants because you know why? Because I just got, look, I'll show you. Look, my man Dewar did this on my pants. What do you think? Can you see it? Look good. All right, look, I got a t-shirt. I've been hit by the hit club, man. I was in Oakland and I got hit. Look, from the Dewar. Give me 5. It's good to see you.
I'm with my crazy man, Hinton, the clown, always the clown.
Yo.
This man has more energy than most.
Well, you're
12-year-olds.
Capricorn. You should have as much energy as I. It's Capricorns, man. I've been up in the Rocky Mountains, you know.
So I hooked him up with a little shirt real quick.
Yo, he's fast.
Nothing much.
It's a whole lot.
This is tight though. This one was tight to me, but you know, basically.
Can we see that again?
Crazy
Okay,
Hinton.
that's it. What do you think?
Listen, the clown.
Yeah, that's me. The clown.
Theatrical.
Yo,
It's like,
so I want to
do this.
Well, you know, it's just that Capricorn nature I like to direct. Thank you for watching Lifestyles of Poor and Unknown. We're here in Oakland, California, East Oakland, California, and this is my man Dewar. He's doing some graffiti art, and he did some graffiti art on me.
All right.
Be like Dewar, man. Be like Dewar, man. Be like Dewar, man.
1984. That's the year San Francisco's walls started talking. Bay Area graffiti was like an explosion, turning blank concrete into a canvas for the voiceless. But who were these first artists, risking it all to make their mark? Picture San Francisco back then, a city on the edge, about to get a whole new look. You'd see kids from every neighborhood, spray cans in hand, ready to leave their stamp on the world. This wasn't just scribbles. It was how young people got their voices heard when no one was listening. Artists would spread their unique signatures all over, from alleyways to rooftops. It was like a secret language only they could speak. But here's the thing. While these tigers saw it as art, the law saw it as vandalism. And that's where the real story begins. A clash between creativity and authority that would shape the Bay Area for years to come. New York, state of mind. Just as San Francisco's graffiti artists thought they had the game figured out, the rules changed overnight. Ever wonder how a few New Yorkers turned the Bay Area's graffiti art scene on its head? It is a tale of culture clash, artistic rivalry, and a new era of urban expression. The mid-'80s saw a seismic shift in San Francisco's graffiti landscape. Artists from New York, the birthplace of modern graffiti, started showing up on the West Coast. Guys like Cuba and Zephyr brought with them a whole new way of doing things. These East Coast artists didn't just tag, they painted elaborate pieces that covered entire walls. For the local SF artists, it was like somebody had suddenly cranked up the difficulty level. The simple tags and throw-ups they'd been doing, not gonna cut it anymore. The New York style was bold, colorful, and complex. It was a wake-up call for the Bay Area scene. You'd see SF artists huddled together, studying photos of New York subway cars and trying to figure out how to recreate that style. But they didn't just copy. No, that's not how the Bay Area rolls. Instead, they took those East Coast techniques and mixed them up with their own West Coast flavor. The result, a unique blend that was hella San Francisco. The local artists started pushing themselves, developing their tags into full-blown pieces. We're talking about intricate letter styles, vibrant color schemes, and characters that seemed to jump off the wall. It wasn't just about getting your name up anymore. It was about making it look good. This evolution didn't happen overnight, though. It took time, practice, and a whole lot of empty spray cans. Artists would spend hours sketching in their black books, perfecting their styles before hitting the streets. And when they did, it was an explosion of creativity across the city. But with all this artistic growth came something else: competition. Suddenly, it wasn't enough to just have your tag all over town. Now, you had to have the freshest style, the most original concepts. Artists were trying to outdo each other with bigger, more complex pieces. It was like a citywide battle of the cans, with concrete as the canvas. Riff, one of the OG Bay Area graffiti artists, put it this way: the purpose of the tag is getting your signature up on as many surfaces as possible, quickly and efficiently, without being seen or caught. But as the scene evolved, that purpose expanded. It became about making your mark in more ways than one. This competitive spirit pushed the scene forward at lightning speed. You would see styles changing almost weekly as artists tried to stay ahead of the game. One week, it was all about wild style letters. The next, it was cartoon characters. Then it was 3D letters that seemed to pop right off the wall. The city became a living, breathing art gallery, constantly updating and evolving. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. This clash between the old-school taggers and the new wave of artistic expression created some tension. You had the purists, who believed graffiti should stick to its roots, quick, rebellious, and raw. Then you had the new school, pushing for more elaborate and visually striking pieces. It was a cultural tug-of-war that played out on the walls of San Francisco. In the end, though, this tension only served to make the Bay Area graffiti scene stronger. It forced artists to really think about what they were doing and why. It wasn't just about getting your name up anymore. It was about making a statement, about pushing the boundaries of what was possible with a can of spray paint. The influence of New York graffiti on the Bay Area scene can't be overstated. It was like a shot of adrenaline to an already thriving culture. But what happened next? Well, that's where things get really interesting. Mission Control. As the dust settled from the East Coast invasion, all eyes turned to a small pocket of San Francisco. What made the Mission District the perfect canvas for street art revolution? The answer involves more than just spray paint and blank walls. The Mission District, a vibrant neighborhood known for its cultural diversity and political activism, became the epicenter of San Francisco's street art scene in the 1990s. This wasn't just about finding empty spaces to paint. It was about creating a visual language that spoke to the soul of the community. You'd see murals popping up on every corner, each one telling a story of struggle, hope, and identity. The Women's Building mural stands out as one of the most iconic pieces in the area. It's not just a pretty picture, it's a powerful symbol of female empowerment and diversity, reflecting the spirit of the neighborhood. But the Mission's transformation into an open-air gallery didn't just happen overnight. It was sparked by a group of local art students who were tired of being ignored by the mainstream art world. They called themselves the Mission School, and they had a simple goal: to get their work seen, no matter what. These artists took to the streets, turning alleyways and abandoned buildings into their personal canvases. The work was raw, energetic, and unmistakably San Franciscan. It wasn't long before the Mission District became known as the place to see cutting-edge street art. One local artist summed it up perfectly. The Mission District is home to many different alleys and walls of murals. The street art in this area tends to be bigger pictures rather than small tags and is more widely accepted because of the visual appeal of the pieces. This shift from quick tags to elaborate murals changed the way people saw graffiti. Suddenly, it wasn't just vandalism, it was art. But here's where things get complicated. The Mission Street art scene is caught in a tug-of-war between two opposing forces: cultural preservation and gentrification. On one side, you've got the artists and longtime residents who see these murals as a vital part of the neighborhood's identity. On the other, you've got developers and newcomers who often view graffiti as an eyesore. This tension plays out on the walls themselves. You'd see historical murals that have been part of the community for decades suddenly painted over to make way for new developments. It's like watching the neighborhood's memory being erased, one wall at a time. The irony is that the very thing that made the Mission District so attractive to outsiders, its vibrant street art scene, is now under the threat of the influx of people it attracted. Artists who once had free rein to express themselves now find themselves pushed out by rising rents and disappearing wall space. But the spirit of the Mission street art scene isn't easily extinguished. For every mural that's lost, another seems to spring up overnight. The artists adapt, finding new ways to leave their mark on the city. They're not just painting pretty pictures, they're documenting the ongoing story of the neighborhood. These murals serve as a kind of living history book. Walk down any street in the Mission, and you'll see artwork addressing everything from immigration rights to climate change. It's like the walls themselves are having a conversation about the issues that matter most to the community. The Mission District's graffiti scene isn't just about art. It's about identity, resistance, and the right to be seen and heard. In a city that's changing rapidly, these murals serve as anchors, reminding everyone of the neighborhood's roots and the diverse communities that call it home. But the story of the Mission Street art scene is far from over. As the neighborhood continues to change, so too does its relationship with graffiti. Crews and battlegrounds. While the Mission was finding its voice, across the Bay, a different kind of art war was brewing. Ever wonder what happens when graffiti crews decide to settle their beef with spray cans instead of fists? The answer lies in the story of TMF and TWS, two crews that turned San Francisco into their personal battleground. Back in the day, if you're walking through San Francisco, you might have noticed some letters popping up more than others. TMF and TWS. These weren't just random tags. They were the marks of two major crews vying for control of the city's walls. TMF, aka the most famous, or the Mellow Fellows, were known for their vibrant, colorful pieces. These guys were all about that classic style, heavily influenced by what was going down in New York. On the other side, you had TWS, aka Together with Style, or the Wild Style. They were repping that local modern flavor, pushing for something uniquely San Francisco. Now, when you get two crews with different styles and add a competitive spirit, you're bound to see some sparks fly. That's exactly what happened with TMF and TWS. It wasn't just about painting anymore, it was about dominance. You'd see a fresh TMF piece one day, only to find it covered by a TWS production the next. This back and forth was classic graffiti wars. These battles weren't fought with fists or weapons, but with cans of spray paint and dope artistic skills. It was all about who could rock the biggest, boldest, and most eye-catching pieces, who could get their name up in the most visible spots, who could come up with the wildest styles. It was a constant battle for visual supremacy, with the entire city as their canvas. But every war needs a battlefield, right? For San Francisco's graffiti artists, that battlefield was Psycho City. This wasn't just any old wall or alley. Psycho City was the spot. It started out as a legal place for writers to showcase their skills, but it quickly turned into something else entirely. Picture this, a huge yard filled with massive, colorful pieces from every crew in the city. It was like an open-air gallery, but with way more attitude. At first, Psycho City was all about collaboration and pushing each other to new heights. But as the rivalry between crews heated up, it became ground zero for the graffiti wars. You'd see artists from TMF and TWS, along with other crews, showing up at all hours to paint over each other's work. It was chaotic, competitive, and completely addictive for the artists involved. One writer described it like this, stating, "Psycho City was where you went to prove yourself. If you could hold your own there, you could make it anywhere in the city." It wasn't just about painting anymore, it was about skills, reputation, and respect. But like all good things, Psycho City couldn't last forever. In the early 90s, the city shut it down. Just like that, San Francisco's graffiti artists lost their playground. But the thing about street artists is, they don't just pack up and go home when things get tough. They adapt. With Psycho City gone, the graffiti scene exploded across San Francisco. Artists who had been content to battle it out in one spot were now taking their beef to every corner of the city. You'd see tags popping up in places that had never been touched before. Abandoned buildings, highway overpasses, rooftops, and across the bay, Oakland's 23rd Avenue train yards became hotter than ever, getting a resurgence since its beginnings in the early 80s. Another artist said, "When Psycho City was closed, it was all about finding the ill spot. It made people go back to their straight letter. Without a legal place to paint, artists had to get creative and quick. The focus shifted back to more traditional tagging styles, fast, efficient, and everywhere." This period saw a huge surge in illegal graffiti. The city's walls were getting bombed left and right. It was as if the closure of Psycho City had unleashed all this pent-up creative energy, and now it was spilling out across San Francisco. But it wasn't just about quantity, the quality of the work was evolving too. The rivalry between crews like TMF and TWS pushed everyone to up their game. You'd see styles changing almost weekly as artists tried to outdo each other. It was like watching the walls have a conversation, with each new piece responding to the last. The dream lives on. As the walls of San Francisco buzzed with artistic rivalry, across the bay in Oakland, a legend was rising. But what happens when a community's brightest star is suddenly extinguished? The story of Mike, Dream Francisco, would change the face of Bay Area graffiti forever. In the world of Bay Area graffiti, few names carry as much weight as Mike, Dream Francisco. Dream wasn't just another artist with a spray can. He was a visionary who pushed the boundaries of what graffiti could be. As a member of the TDK crew, aka Those Damn Kids, or Tax Dollars Kill, Dream made his mark on Oakland's wall with a style that was uniquely his own. Dream's approach to graffiti went beyond just getting his name up. He saw it as a way to express deeper cultural narratives and personal stories. His pieces were more than just tags or throw-ups. They were full-blown works of art that spoke to the soul of Oakland. One of his most famous pieces, Best of Both Worlds, was like a declaration to the graffiti community. It was Dream saying, "I'm here, and I'm changing the game." But Dream's influence went beyond just his art. He was known for emphasizing the importance of knowing one's roots and culture. This resonated deeply with many young artists in the community, who saw Dream not just as an artist, but a mentor and cultural leader. Then, on February 17, 2000, tragedy struck. Dream, just 30 years old, was murdered in West Oakland during a robbery gone wrong, sending shockwaves through the graffiti community. It wasn't just the loss of a talented artist, it was like losing a piece of Oakland itself. The community's response to this loss would reshape the Bay Area graffiti scene in ways no one could have predicted. In the wake of Dream's death, something remarkable happened. The graph community, often divided by crew rivalries and individual beefs, came together in mourning. They established Dream Day, an annual event to honor Dream's legacy and contributions to the art form. It became a time for artists to put aside their differences and celebrate the culture they all shared. Dream Day wasn't just about remembering the past. It became a catalyst for the future of Bay Area graffiti. Young artists who might have never met Dream in person were now learning about his philosophy and style. His emphasis on cultural roots and meaningful art began to influence a new generation of writers. You'd see this influence in the pieces that started popping up around Oakland and beyond. Artists began incorporating more complex narratives into their work, telling stories of their communities and cultures through their art. It wasn't just about who could paint the biggest or most daring pieces anymore. It was about who could say the most with their art. Dream's legacy also highlighted the dangers faced by graffiti artists. His death was a stark reminder of the risks involved in street art, especially in urban environments where their work is often criminalized. This led to conversations within the community about safety and the need for legal spaces to create. Today, you can still find tributes to Dream all over the Bay Area. His name appears in pieces both big and small, a testament to the lasting impact he had on the culture. The TDK crew continues to carry on his legacy, teaching younger artists about the history and significance of graffiti in Oakland. But Dream's influence goes beyond just artistic style. His emphasis on knowing one's roots had become a core part of Bay Area graffiti culture. You'd see pieces that not only showcase technical skill, but also tell stories of local history, cultural heritage, and community struggle. The tragedy of Dream's death transformed into a unifying force for the Bay Area graffiti scene. It brought together artists from different crews and neighborhoods, creating a sense of community that transcended rivalries. This unity allowed the scene to grow and evolve in new ways, pushing the boundaries of what graffiti could be. The law strikes back. While artists were pushing creative boundaries, lawmakers were drawing new lines of their own. Remember when getting caught with a spray can was no big deal? Well, those days are long gone. One legal change in California turned graffiti from a slap on the wrist to hard time. And it all came down to a magic number. Back in 2000, California passed Proposition 21. This wasn't just another boring law, it was a game changer for the graffiti scene. Suddenly, any vandalism over $400 in damages could be prosecuted as a felony. That's right, what used to get you a fine or some community service could now land you in prison for up to a year. Under Prop 21, juveniles 16 or older charged with adult crimes, like felony vandalism, would go to the big house instead of juvenile hall. This $400 rule hit the graffiti community hard. Artists who were used to tagging wherever they wanted now had to think twice before pulling out their spray cans. It wasn't just about avoiding getting caught anymore. It was about avoiding serious prison time. But here's where it gets even crazier. Prop 21 didn't stop at just upping the penalties for graffiti. It also said that any group of 3 or more people could be classified as a street gang. So if you and your buddies were out painting together, boom, you could be labeled as gang members. And good luck getting that stain out of your permanent record. The police weren't messing around either. San Francisco set up a special graffiti unit with cops dedicated to tracking down and arresting writers. They even started going undercover to catch artists in the act. For example, writing on the Muni or BART. It was like something out of a crime movie, but the targets were kids with spray cans instead of hardened criminals. You'd think with all this heat, graffiti would just disappear, but that's not how it went down. Instead, artists got craftier. They started using new techniques to avoid detection. Some switched to less visible spots, while others developed faster ways to get their tags up. For example, using stickers and stencils. It was like a cat and mouse game, with the artists always trying to stay one step ahead of the law. But it wasn't all about dodging cops. The city was pouring serious money into cleaning up graffiti. We're talking nearly $20 million a year. That's a lot of cash just to paint over some tags. And it wasn't just the government. Private businesses were chipping in too. Everyone seemed to be on a mission to keep the walls clean. This crackdown created a weird situation. On one hand, you had all these efforts to stop graffiti, but on the other hand, the art form was getting more attention than ever. People were starting to see it as more than just vandalism. As one observer said, graffiti is not all good. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. It was complex, just like the city itself. The relationship between artists and the law got tense. You had cops saying things like, the idea of destroying other people's property and the idea of defacing places in the city, it is a problem, and it is something that we are addressing. But for the artists, it was not about destruction. It was about expression. All these legal changes forced the graffiti scene to evolve. Some artists quit altogether, not wanting to risk the harsh penalties. Others doubled down, seeing the increased risk as part of the thrill, the nature of the beast. And some started looking for ways to make their art legit, searching for legal walls and commission work. The $400 rule didn't just change the legal landscape. It changed the entire culture of graffiti in California. It made artists think harder about why they were doing what they were doing. Was it worth the risk? What were they really trying to say with their art? These were not just abstract questions anymore. They could mean the difference between freedom and a felony charge. From streets to galleries. As the risk got higher, so did the stakes. Graph artists faced the choice: keep pushing their luck or find a new way to make their mark. For some, the solution was as unexpected as it was controversial. They traded spray cans for paintbrushes and alleyways for art galleries. But could street art survive being brought indoors? The Bay Area graffiti scene was changing fast. Artists who once lived for the thrill of illegal tagging were now looking for ways to keep their art alive without risking jail time. This shift didn't happen overnight. It was more like a slow evolution, with artists testing the waters of legitimacy one mural at a time. Take the Women's Building mural in San Francisco. This wasn't just some quick tag job done in the dead of night. No, this was a massive, colorful piece that took time, planning, and most importantly, permission. It wasn't just for art's sake. It was a powerful statement about female empowerment and diversity. And guess what? People loved it. This mural did more than just brighten up a wall. It changed how folks looked at street art. Suddenly, graffiti wasn't just about vandalism anymore. It was a way to tell stories, to make statements, to bring communities together. You'd see people stopping to take pictures, talking about the meaning behind the piece. It was like the whole city was starting to see graffiti in a new light. But not everyone was on board with this new direction. Some old-school graph artists saw these commissioned murals as selling out. They'd say that real graffiti is about rebellion, not pleasing the public. It sparked a big debate in the community. Was this evolution or just watering down the art form? You had artists who saw this as a chance to take their skills to the next level. They could spend more time on their pieces, experiment with new techniques, and actually make a living from their art. No more dodging cops or worrying about fines. Plus, their work was reaching a whole new audience. But on the other side, you had the purists. They argued that taking the art form off the streets and into galleries or commissioned spaces was missing the point. Many writers believe that graffiti is the last true form of free speech. They saw the move towards legality as losing the raw, rebellious spirit that made graffiti what it was. But here's the thing, it wasn't just about art. It was about survival. With the new laws making graffiti a serious crime, many artists had to adapt or quit. Some chose to hang up their backpacks full of spray cans for good. Others found a middle ground, doing legal work to pay the bills, but still hitting the streets for the occasional illegal piece. You'd see former taggers transitioning into professional artists and designers. They were taking the skills they'd honed on the streets, things like revolutionary color combinations, unique lettering styles, and the ability to work on a large scale, and applying them to everything from graphic design to interior decorating. It was like they were bringing a piece of the street into the mainstream. The transition wasn't always smooth. Some artists struggled to adapt to the constraints of commission work. No more freedom to paint whatever you want, wherever you want. Now they had to deal with clients, deadlines, meetings with corporate, and unsurprisingly, compromise their artistic vision. But for many, the benefits outweighed the drawbacks. They could finally make a living doing what they loved. Their art was reaching a wider audience than ever before. And let's be real, not having to worry about getting arrested was kind of a relief. The debate about selling out versus legitimizing the art form is still going on today. You'll find artists on both sides of the fence, and plenty who fall somewhere in between. Some argue that bringing graffiti into the mainstream has opened up new opportunities and pushed the art form to new heights. Others say it's lost its edge, its authenticity. What is clear is that the Bay Area graffiti scene is far from dead. It's just evolving. You'll still find illegal tags, pieces, throw-ups, and heavens if you know where to look. But you'll also see stunning murals brightening up city blocks, graffiti-inspired designs in trendy shops, and former street artists with their work hanging in galleries and getting big bucks at auction houses. The new school. Just when you thought you'd seen it all, the game changed again. Remember when graffiti was all about staying hidden? Now, some Bay Area artists are putting their work front and center and using tech that would make Steve Jobs do a double take. But here's the real question. Is it still graffiti if it's done with an app? The streets of San Francisco, Oakland, and Berkeley are buzzing with a new energy these days. FSC, or Freestyle Core, have been killing it since the mid-90s, catching wreck and bringing fresh styles to the scene. These guys aren't just following in the footsteps of the legends. They're carving out their own path, not just with graph, but with music, too. Take a walk through the Mission District today, and you might catch a glimpse of something wild. Digital projections turning entire buildings into canvases. Augmented reality murals that come to life when you point your phone at them. It's like the whole city's turned into one big art gallery. But it's not just about the flashy tech. These new school artists are tackling some heavy issues through their work. But gentrification is a big issue. You'd see pieces popping up that comment on how the neighborhood's changing, with tech money pushing out longtime residents. It's like the walls themselves are having a conversation about what's happening to the city. One artist put it this way: "I do it for the love of writing, simply put." That passion's still at the heart of the scene, even as the tools and techniques evolve. You'd see crews like BA and the aforementioned FSC keeping the old school spirit alive while pushing things in exciting new directions. But here's where it gets tricky. As these new artists make their mark, there is a constant battle between preserving the classics and making room for new work. You might see a mural that's been part of the neighborhood for decades suddenly covered up by a fresh piece. It's like watching the city's history being written in real time. This struggle is playing out all over the Bay Area. In Oakland, you find artists trying to balance respect for the old guard with their own need to express themselves. It's not always easy, but it's part of what keeps the scene dynamic. The rise of social media changed things too. Back in the day, if you wanted to see someone's work, you had to hit the streets. Now, artists can showcase their pieces to the whole world with just a tap on their phone. It opened up new opportunities, but some worry it's taking away from the raw, street-level energy that made graffiti what it was. But for every artist embracing the new, you'd find another keeping things old school. Some still swear by traditional techniques, arguing that there's no substitute for the feel of a spray can in your hand and the rush of painting somewhere you shouldn't. The debate about selling out versus legitimizing street art, that is still going strong and will continue to do so. Like yin and yang. What's clear is that the Bay Area graffiti scene isn't standing still. It's evolving, adapting to new technologies and social realities. The Mission School movement's a good example. Art students started gaining recognition for their public murals, blending traditional graffiti with more accepted forms of street art. It's like watching the line between vandalism and public art get blurrier by the day. But even as things change, some things stay the same. The sense of community, of artists mentoring and inspiring each other, that's still at the heart of the scene. You'd see established artists taking younger writers under their wing, passing on techniques and helping them find their style. As for the future, who knows where Bay Area graffiti is headed next? Maybe we'll see holograms floating above the streets of AI-generated murals that change based on who's looking at them. What's certain is that as long as there are walls in San Francisco and Oakland, there will be artists ready to make their mark on them. The writing on the wall. From its humble beginnings in 1984 to today's diverse scene, Bay Area graffiti has come a long way. What started out as simple tags have evolved into complex art forms that shape the visual landscape of San Francisco and Oakland. Graffiti has been a voice for the voiceless, a form of resistance, and a way to reclaim public spaces. It survived crackdowns, adapted new technologies, and even found its way into galleries. But at its core, it remains a raw expression of urban culture, As one artist put it, quote, "Graffiti is a part of urban life, just like noise in buildings. It's artwork for the people," end quote. The sentiment captures the enduring spirit of Bay Area street art. So every time you're walking through the city, take a closer look at the walls around you. Every tag, every mural has a story to tell the ever-changing face of the Yay area. Thank you for watching another Crush Unit video. Please hit that like and subscribe so we could keep giving you stories of urban culture. Peace.